Good evening, everybody, and welcome to College Possible Philadelphia's Champions for Success virtual event. I'm Cherri Gregg, Community Affairs Reporter for KYW Newsradio. I'm also host and executive producer of Flashpoint with Cherri Gregg. I am so honored to serve as tonight's MC, and I am so looking forward to my conversation shortly with Nick Baer, CEO and founder of Saxbys. I cannot wait. But first, we will hear from Dia Williams-Adams, Executive Director of College Possible Philadelphia, who will tell us more about tonight's special event. Hey, Dia.
Hi, Cherri. Thank you so much for joining us this evening and being a part of our program. I'm so excited and I'm looking forward to hearing your conversation with our guest tonight, Nick Baer. I'm Dia Williams-Adams, Executive Director for College Possible Philadelphia. Welcome to the Champions for Success virtual event. I want to personally thank all of you for joining us as we celebrate our class of 2021 graduates, local leaders, and all of our supporters. This past academic year has been one for the history books. Our students had to face many obstacles as they traversed the school year during a pandemic. As in-person learning, class trips, proms, and other graduation activities were canceled, they, like us, had to adapt to life in a virtual world. As the pandemic spread across the globe and reached our country, many of us were filled with uncertainty. We all witnessed many social, racial, and political injustices, and yet our students still persevered to reach this point. After such a harrowing year, I'm proud to say that our students rose to the occasion more determined than ever. Our students are resilient, and in a true demonstration of grit and perseverance, our students have fulfilled their dream of attaining their degree. This evening's program is packed with inspirational moments. We'll hear from our team members, students, and coaches. We'll hear a few words from our current board chair, Joe Divis of AT&T, and our vice chair, Tony Barrett of Raymond James. And our special guests this evening are Nick Baer, founder and CEO of Saxbys and Cherri Gregg of KYW Newsradio, who will have an engaging conversation about resilience and social impact. Before I close, I want to say thank you to all of our champions this evening, all of our graduates, generous sponsors, and supporters. Funds from tonight's event and gifts received throughout the year allow us to serve more students and provide the support they need to achieve their college degree. Again, thank you for joining us, and congratulations, graduates.
I'm the first person in my family.
I was the first one in my family.
I am the first in my family to graduate from college.
I'm the first girl in my family.
I was the first in my family to graduate from college.
This evening, I'm going to have a conversation with Nick Bayer, founder and CEO of Saxbys. Nick has always been in the business of bringing people together, whether it's as one of Philadelphia Business Journal's most admired CEOs or as a consummate team captain since Little League. Aw. When he created Saxbys in 2005, Nick never really considered it to be a coffee company. Instead, it's a social impact company fueled by amazing food, beverage, and hospitality. Philadelphia-based Saxbys has since grown from one corner cafe to nearly 30 units with a singular mission: make life better.
Great to see you.
Well, it's good to see you too. I'm sorry we can't meet in person. And this is the first time I've met you, so it's so nice to see you over there. So we're going to jump right in. I was really, really excited to have this conversation after reading your amazing story. And I know you share it often, as well as the origin story of Saxbys. But for those who have never heard of you, all these young folks, please give them an overview of yourself as well as your company.
Yeah, absolutely, Cherri. So I think I might be on a little bit of a lag here. So hang with me if it seems a little awkward here. But I am so personally touched by College Possible, and I wish College Possible existed when I was the age of the young people that are overcoming so much and leveraging their hard work and the support of others to be able to change their lives through college. Because the mission of Saxbys to make life better, as you said at the outset, is inextricably linked to my own upbringing. Like all those bright, beautiful faces we heard on the video, I too am a first-generation college student. My parents were teenagers when they had me, and that stopped them short of getting their diploma, which stopped them short of being able to go and do what they actually love to do. For my dad, he desperately wanted to be a coach and a teacher. My mom really wanted to be an entrepreneur. And the reality is, in this country, if you don't get your diploma, if you don't get your degree, the likelihood of you being able to go do what it is that makes your heart race, go do what you actually love to do, is very challenging. And add in whether you're a female and or a person of color, and it makes it tremendously harder. And so my parents really impressed upon me as a kid, Nick, our jobs are just jobs that put food on the table. They're not what make us happy. This is not what we want for you and for my little brother. We want you to get your degree. And through all kinds of trials and tribulations and family sacrifices and lots of different stories and experiences, I became the first person in my family to go to college. And over the last many years, almost 20 years at this point, I've been able to see what other people have talked about, which is when you get that diploma, you not only learn so much about yourself, but it opens up the gates to opportunity. You now have the opportunity to go and do whatever it is that you actually love to do.
I love that. And we share a very similar story in that regard, Nick, which is why I think your story is so amazing. So you actually have your company, Saxbys, has a very clear mission. As you mentioned, I mentioned it, make life better. How has this mission evolved since you started the company? And then we're going to talk about this pandemic, because we've been dealing with this for well over a year now, and it's been quite crazy.
Yeah, it certainly has. How has the mission evolved? Quite simply, Cherri, the mission has evolved in that it didn't exist to now being the center of what we did. When I created Saxbys, I knew nothing about being an entrepreneur. I didn't know how to write a business plan. I didn't know how to raise money. I didn't have family wealth to lean on to sort of like create a safety net under me. I just knew that in order for me to make the impact that I wanted to make in this world, I needed to create a business that was going to be people-centric. And quite honestly, the courage that I had because I had my diploma gave me the courage to be able to make that leap. And the quick sort of genesis, the idea for me is at 22 years old, I had no idea what I wanted to do. If you asked me on a Monday, I think I wanted to be a lawyer. If you asked me on Tuesday, I wanted to be James Bond. If you asked me on Thursday, I wanted to be a baseball player. I had no idea what I wanted to do. And I did all these different internships in college. I did finance in New York, real estate in LA, logistics in Charlotte. And I felt like I was a square peg in a round hole. And freaking out at 22, I started to pick up the phone back in the day where a phone was actually, there was a cord and it was attached to a thing and you could only walk so far with it. And I called two people. I called my 7th grade teacher, who pleaded with my parents in 7th grade to send me somewhere else for school. That she felt like I needed a better learning environment, a place that was less disruptive, more committed to being able to teach me at the level that I wanted and I needed to be taught at. And my parents listened to her. I went to a great high school that really sort of opened up the floodgates for me from a learning perspective. And I called my high school basketball coach, who kicked me in the butt literally and figuratively many, many times. But all the time when I wanted to go the wrong way, he always made sure I went the right way. And they had the exact same advice for me. And I said, I don't know what I want to do. They said, Nick, we went into coaching, we went into teaching for this reason right here, to change young people's lives. We're so proud of where you are in your life. And mind you, at that point, Cherri, I didn't feel like I was anywhere in my life. I felt so lost, but they were so much wiser. They were so much more mature than me. They knew about a month from then I was going to get my diploma and the world was going to be my oyster. And so with confidence and calmness, they were like, Nick, this is why we went into teaching. And both times I hung up that phone with them, I remember thinking, that's the feeling that I want to have. Whatever it is that I do at the beginning of my career, the middle of my career, and certainly the end of my career, I want to know that people's lives were better because I existed. Because I put in the time, I put in the effort to, when someone wants to go the wrong way, I'm going to help them go the right way. I'm going to put in the time, I'm going to put in the capital, I'm going to share my life experiences to be able to do that. But I love business. I learned to love business when I was in college. And I believe that when a business is set up for good, it has a way of changing the world for the better. Unfortunately, it also works in the opposite direction. But I was so focused on how could I put together this love that I have for people with this love that I have for business. And if I can do both well, we'll be more successfully financially and lift more people's lives, one and the same, because I think that they're inextricably linked. They're not mutually exclusive from one another. And so that was the original dream and genesis of Saxbys.
And I think that's beautiful because it's so much bigger than coffee, right? It's so much bigger than coffee. It's about people and making life better. And I want to circle back because the pandemic has affected a lot of people. I know you're on a lot of campuses. How did the pandemic impact Saxbys' execution of this mission?
It was brutal. March 16th of 2021. So almost exactly 13 months ago, at 5 p.m. March 16th, every single one of our cafes was closed. The majority of our cafes are in dense urban environments. So 30th Street Station, most of the high rises here in Philadelphia and college campuses. Those were hit the hardest in COVID. And our cafes, every one of them stayed closed for 5 months. So we went from serving 15,000 guests a day, employing almost 850 people. Times were amazing. We were growing rapidly. Like everything was on fire in the best possible way for us to a screeching halt. And as everybody knows, personally, professionally, we had no idea when it was going to end. I remember when we were locking up the office right in the middle of March, being like, see you next week, maybe 2 weeks, but we'll see you very soon. Most of those people I haven't seen in 13 months at this point. Fortunately, we've been able to start getting our business back on its feet. But for businesses like ours, again, college campuses in urban environments, there's still a lot of headwind on our business. We're not performing where we were pre-COVID, but if we ever needed something to reaffirm our mission to make life better, the work that we do to educate young people by providing them experiential learning and scholarships, this was the time, because it's easy for me to feel sorry for myself and talk about all my cafes being closed and this and that. There are many, many, many more people who have been hurt, far more than that. And I think that the organizations that are going to help flip this around are not only businesses, but businesses that are focused on leveraging their success to help and serve other people. And that's exactly what Saxbys is. I think that's been a really huge galvanizing effect for us. And I think one of the big decisions that we've made is coming out of COVID, we're going to be an experiential learning company. This is what we're going to do, which I know we'll probably talk a little bit more about, but instead of having downtown locations and neighborhood locations and college run by students, we're going to lean into being an education and opportunity company and leverage our experiential learning platform to change people's lives.
I absolutely love that. And this is the perfect transition. So you developed the Saxbys Experiential Learning Platform, or ELP. It's a student-centric entrepreneurship opportunity where Saxbys partners with leading universities to give students the opportunity to run a business, which in this case, of course, is a very busy cafe. Now, each of these ELP cafes, they're run by a student CEO. Can you tell us more about this model? You touched on it. And how does it run parallel with the college experience to make sure that people graduate with that 4-year degree?
Yeah, as I was starting to develop, Saxbys, Cherri, it was sort of luck on my part that higher ed started to embrace entrepreneurship. When I was in school, people didn't teach entrepreneurship. If you wanted to know entrepreneurship, you needed to have a mom, a sister, an aunt, a next door neighbor who would teach you entrepreneurship, because higher ed wasn't going to do it. And as Saxbys started to develop itself and be known a little bit more, everyone started to teach entrepreneurship. And what they were looking for were entrepreneurs to come into the classroom and meet with their students and not talk about how smart they are and all their great decisions, but more importantly, talk about how hard it was and the decisions that you made that you wish you could do all over again, and how you can take failure and create great success from failure. And so I had the great fortune where my phone just started to ring. My alma mater, I went to Cornell in upstate New York, called me, Drexel called me, Temple called me, CCP here in Philadelphia called me, and I just got to start sitting in front of young people. And it was such a gift for me because I was excited to be able to share my trials and tribulations in hopes that it would make them a better entrepreneur than I was and I am today. And it was my way of giving back. But they say that the best way to learn is to teach. And so as I was teaching, I was learning a lot, and one of the things I was learning was that the greatest leaders in higher ed, the Dr. Generals at CCP, the John Frys at Drexel, they were talking about experiential learning. How do we take all of this great classroom instruction and then allow young people to be able to apply what they learned in a live fire setting, manage real people, serve real guests, have real competition, have real finances? And so the idea that sort of came together is we've always been mission driven. We've always looked at ourselves as both educational and experiential or entrepreneurial. Like all of our cafes have been run by CEOs, cafe executive officers, meaning don't call Nick Bayer to make decisions. You are just as ready and prepared to make a decision as I am. And the best decisions are oftentimes ones that were made after failures, and so we really sort of embrace that mentality here at Saxbys. And John Fry gave us our first opportunity right here in Philly, where Lancaster Avenue dead ends into 34th Street 6 years ago, almost to the day. Drexel undergraduate architecture and design students design their own Saxbys right in the middle of campus. And every minute of every day for 6 years straight, that business, which does almost $1 million in revenue, is run entirely by undergraduate students. The student CEO takes no classes, gets a full semester of credit, full wages, bonuses, and manages a team of 40 of her peers. Comes in our office every month and presents her profit and loss statement, just like I do with my private equity group and with my board. She's a CEO the same way I'm a CEO here at Saxbys. And so, we're not trying to create the next generation of coffee entrepreneurs per se. We're trying to create the next generation of civic-minded leaders, regardless of industry, whether they go into nonprofit, for-profit, big business, or small. These are the skill sets: emotional intelligence, critical thinking, cultural agility, that are really hard to learn in the classroom, but when combined with what you learn in the classroom, makes the next generation of leaders really powerful, really ready to help change the world, hopefully for the better.
I love the concept. Fail forward. And I'm sure nobody, Nick, is falling asleep in this class, okay? Everybody's paying attention there. I love it. And I got to shift gears a little bit and it ties to what you just said. Everything is very mission driven. You have experiential learning, and you spent the past couple of years working to go through the process of becoming, getting Saxbys certified as a B Corporation. And congratulations, it happened in 2021. I know it's a big deal. Explain why this certification is so important for you and your team, and what did you learn from this process, and what does it mean for Saxbys?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are so proud. We became a certified B Corp. We actually attained it in the fall, but we sat on the information until the spring because we wanted to figure out a great way to be able to train our team and be able to message this properly. Because not only is it important to us, we think it's important for business. We are educators at Saxbys, and we have a distinct privilege of being able to educate the next generation of leaders to do it better than we do it. And so I think that we take a lot of pride and respect in the fact that we're B Corp certified. We've been working on this for 3+ years, but I'd like to say that the day that I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur, the day that I picked the coffee industry, I picked the coffee industry, Cherri, not because I was like the most impressive palate you'd ever met, in the coffee business. I picked coffee because I wanted a quintessential people business. I wanted a business that can and would serve and employ any and everyone. We have people with PhDs at Saxbys. We have people we've hired out of homeless shelters. We serve people that are millionaires, and we serve people who slept on the street the night before, and we treat them both with equal dignity and equal respect, and we always have. And I don't know that you can do that in many industries. You can do that in coffee. So that's why coffee was always important to us. But the day I wanted to become an entrepreneur, I knew I wanted to be a social entrepreneur. I knew I wanted our business to make the world a better place, but B Corp didn't exist at the time. We were a couple of years into our operation before B Corp was even created. So we were off doing our own thing. And one of the founders of B Corp came to me and said, Nick, I've heard you speak a couple times. I get to experience Saxbys. Would you look at this? And I looked at it, and then I was like, that looks like the hardest thing we'd ever do our entire life, because it is about 300+ questions, a deep audit. Like, there's no talking your way in and out of questions. There's none. Believe me, I tried. There's none of that. Like, it is a tremendous assessment that you have to go through. If you get a high enough score, they then assign you an auditor. So everything you submitted voluntarily now gets audited. So the same way your finances, at the end of the year, you give all your financial information to your accountant, whether you're a person or a business, and they say, did you take in this much revenue? Did you pay these expenses? Here's what your tax situation is. This B Corp certification is that for everything except finances. So what is your environmental impact? What is your social impact? What is your governance? Is your business only white men? Does your business only pay white people well and not black people? Do only white people get promoted? Does your business burn trash in the middle of the streets? Does it pollute the ocean ways? Like, what does your business actually do? Because why B Corp ultimately became important to me, the reason why after 3 attempts, Cherri, we tried it and stopped, because it was so daunting and we just didn't have the bandwidth to complete it. After a while, though, I started to realize that I knew we were walking the walk as Saxbys, and I was seeing too much talk the talk. There were a good amount of big companies who had big marketing budgets who wanted to grab onto the notion that impact is what sells. It sells gasoline, it sells watches, it sells coffee, it sells all of these kinds of things. And I just didn't think we were talkers. I truly believe that we were walkers, but I think that I knew that we needed that third-party verification to be able to do it. And that precisely is what B Corp is for us. That's a third party. That's not Nick Bayer saying, we've got this vision for being impactful. This is a third party, the most rigorous audit that there is to determine whether a company is actually positively impactful through environmental, social, and governance actions. And that, I'm proud to say, is what Saxbys is.
Wonderful. And you held your feet to the fire, because no one likes an audit. All right. I want to just, I know that with Saxbys certification and recent expansion to Bowie State and the University of Pittsburgh, congratulations. Saxbys now has multiple opportunities ahead of it. Where do you see the company going in the next 3 to 5?
Yeah, so I mean, our last experiential learning partner pre-COVID was with Bowie State University, which, as you probably know, Cherri, is a historically Black college based in Maryland. The president there, Dr. Aminta Bro, I'm fortunate to call her a friend. She's a mentor to me. She's just a wonderful, wonderful human being and leader. And so, when she got that president's job, she called me and said, Nick, I am going to show what entrepreneurship looks like on this campus, and I'm going to show what civic-minded entrepreneurship in particular looks like on campus. Would you guys come down here? And that was a really happy day for me where I was one of the first phone calls that she made because that's what she thinks of Saxbys. That's what she thinks of me as a leader. And that was maybe the coolest party I've ever been to. There was an 8-hour party when we opened up our cafe. There was a DJ. There was the entire Bowie State band played. The cheerleaders performed. They made me dance a couple times, which was not pleasant for people's eyes, but it was a celebration. It was a celebration of young people. And in this instance, 100% of our team are people of color. And they are getting their opportunity to be able to build their resume and build their experience to go be better entrepreneurs, go be better leaders than I was ready to be when I was 21, 22. So we realize now coming out of COVID, we've built something special with our experiential learning platform. It is mission aligned for what we're doing. It's not just good business. This is why I became an entrepreneur. This is why all of our team members joined Saxbys. You can get a job doing almost anything, but to find a job that is aligned with your calling, with the personal impact that you want to make in life, that's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So for people that really want to leverage their hard work and leverage their skills to provide education and opportunity for people, this is the perfect company. And our experiential learning platform is the perfect way to be able to do that. So coming out of this, Cherri, we now see ourselves as an experiential learning company. So our growth indefinitely for the next several years will be experiential learning. And I'm already seeing the fruits of that. I'm already seeing, by being able to focus our time, our attention, our capital on experiential learning and not other business ventures, we're already making such tremendous impact. Like the amount of former student CEOs that we're recruiting into Saxbys and that they're building their careers here. The number of new partners that we have. So we're heading out Western Pennsylvania. We're going to the University of Pittsburgh with 2 cafes this fall. We're going to John Carroll University in Cleveland. We're going to Rowan University in South Jersey. We've got many, many, many more partners that are coming on board because this is what the education system is desperately looking for. We're not trying to change the classroom experience. It works quite well, but it works better when you give the outside the classroom experience in a live fire setting where young people take on real responsibility with their peers, make mistakes, learn from them, and build their careers moving forward. And so that's why we believe that we're an experiential learning company, indefinitely.
Wonderful. And as we get ready to wrap up, Nick, we're going to be celebrating tonight the hard work and accomplishments of college students who are graduating in 2021. Yes, yes, yes. And so one of the things I love about your story is the fact that your road to success has not been a crystal stair, right? Some things worked, other things didn't. You were committed, you bounced back, never losing, always learning. As we wrap up, what advice, especially in terms of grit and resilience, do you have for those graduating from college this year?
Yeah, I have a lot of advice I feel like I can pass along, but there's one particular thing I want to pass on, Cherri, and I wish I would have known this. For many, many years of my life, I think probably at least through college and probably just as I was coming out of college, my story, the teenage parents, the first generation college, like I left a school where my ethnicity put me in the significant minority. And then I went to a school where everybody else looked exactly like me, but it was jarring for me the way that it was probably not jarring for everybody else. And I just carried my story and all the things I didn't have and all the things that were stacked against me. I carried it behind me like baggage for years and years and years. And it wasn't until I started to go to college, I started to get some life experience, I finally started to mature, that I realized that life experience, the things that have forced me to be gritty, the things that have forced me to be resilient are not baggage. That's my superpower. I'm so grateful and fortunate that I had to do all those things. I had to work as many jobs as I had to work in college. I took on so much student loan debt that I had to take almost 18 years to pay off. Because most people don't think that. They see me with a CEO title. They see me wearing a pocket square, and they assume that everything was just sort of laid out for me. And I realized that that's not my baggage. That's my superpower. I'm glad I had to overcome those things because the success today tastes better and sweeter. And more importantly, my motivation is to give the same opportunity, the same advice to people who come out of the same or even tougher circumstances than I come out of. So that's my biggest advice is don't feel sorry for yourself. be grateful for the fact that you get to be the first person to change whatever challenges have been provided to you in your life. You get to be the first person. You get to be the leader, but you have to choose to make that decision. It took me a long time to be able to do it. And once I did, boom, I was off to the races. There was no obstacle too great, and there was no success that didn't make me feel grateful for those challenges that I had in the past.
Absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much, Nick, for your time tonight. It was great hearing your story.
It's great to speak to you, Cherri. And sorry if there were some tech issues here, but it was really great to connect with you. And thanks for having me. Congratulations, everyone.
Thank you, Nick, for such a wonderful, engaging conversation tonight. I had a lot of fun. Didn't you guys? Next in the program, we're going to hear from two students in the College Possible Philadelphia program who are graduating with their 4-year degree in 2021. We also will hear from AmeriCorps members who are serving in Philadelphia this program year as college coaches, helping college students in the program navigate the academic, financial, and social barriers that often prevent students from persisting to college graduation.
Hi everyone, my name is Ishel Ortiz and I graduated from Penwood High School, class of 2018. I'm currently a student at Cabrini University, majoring in elementary education and special education. I joined College Possible because I've always wanted to go to college. I was born and raised in the Philippines for about 15 years until I had to move here and rejoin my immediate family around 6 years ago. The college process here is very different from the college process there. And I had limited access to everything, given that I also didn't know anything. Although I wasn't the first person to attend college in my family, I still felt like I was doing everything on my own, given the different circumstances I have. The program's title, College Possible, definitely speaks for itself. When you think about it, some might say college is not for all because everyone would have different experiences like I did personally. We don't know what's going to hinder us from saying that college is for me. But thankfully, College Possible made sure that I was provided with the right tools, the right equipment, the right support system so that I could find myself and actually find my purpose. But again, resources weren't very accessible for someone like me, especially with dealing with the scariest parts of the college application process. College Possible ensured me that I was properly equipped to be successful not only in that moment, but also in the future. It opened a door of opportunity for me that did not only help me succeed academically, but also made sure that I felt valued and supported all throughout. Their goal is to not just successfully admit me to college, but make sure that I am successful beyond that. My College Possible coaches, ever since high school up until now, have many similarities, including their constant purpose of being there for me. And I think that's one of the greatest lessons I've ever learned being in College Possible is to build that strong relationship with your mentors, with your mentees, with everybody. They constantly did check-ins to make sure I was submitting things on time, made sure I had access to resources like scholarship, grants, and any other opportunities. You know, last year was one of the hardest years we've ever had to go through, and I'm very grateful for my College Possible coach because he was always there for me. And you know, as a pre-service teacher, there is so much more beyond the four walls of our classroom, and I've realized that. And knowing how to acknowledge that could come a very long way. I've seen that firsthand through my College Possible experience, and so I have that model in my head. And you know, knowing what it looks like and what it feels like definitely makes me feel more confident in my chosen career path. In addition to that, if it weren't for College Possible, I wouldn't be exposed to the idea of mentorship. I being a mentor myself, and College Possible just really opened that opportunity for me to keep working on myself regardless of where I am in life. You know, when people ask me, why should students be involved with College Possible? I would say, You know, figuring out if college is for you can be very stressful. But when you find people who are constantly and genuinely rooting for you and your success, it makes it easier to get to know yourself and find more of your purpose. It makes you feel like your own champion. And that's a feeling that no one can ever take away from you.
I serve because if I won't, then who will?
Because I want to help current college students navigate the college experience as easily as possible.
I serve for College Possible Philadelphia because I believe that all students should have a strong support system throughout their college journey.
I serve because I believe all students deserve an equal opportunity at furthering their education despite their backgrounds.
I serve because the Philadelphia community is really important to me and I wanted to give back. And it's been an honor to serve this year. I look forward to helping more students.
I serve at College Possible so students from urban neighborhoods can know that they are not alone throughout their academic journey, and also to ensure that they are receiving extra support and extra encouragement throughout this entire process.
Not only do I love the Philadelphia region, but I also just want to be that resource or mentor that can help first-generation low-income students in times of struggle and in times of need.
Given that there are many inequities and barriers within the higher education system, it can be a difficult and discouraging space to navigate on one's own. So I admire the fact that College Possible has a one-on-one mentorship approach where we're able to meet our students where they're at and keep them motivated throughout high school up until the day they graduate from college. As a college coach, I'm humbled because every day I'm able to support and ultimately empower my students throughout their college journey.
I chose to serve with AmeriCorps and College Possible Philadelphia because higher education has always meant a lot to me. It wasn't something guaranteed for anyone in my family, but it's something that we value a lot. I would like to keep spreading the value of higher education, access, and success.
I also think during this pandemic, I serve right now because college students really need connections and bonds and needs people that can help them in this virtual climate. And so right now I'm serving because college right now is even more of a struggle than it was when I was in college. And I want to help them navigate the college experience as best as they can.
I am from a community where we aren't expected to exceed. We aren't expected to beat the expectations. We aren't expected to make it out. But thankfully, growing up, I had a lot of mentors who were there to help guide me through the way and help show me the way. And after all this successful coaching and mentoring and listening to me cry and everything else in between and giving me advice, I ended up graduating college right on time. And I'm the first in my family to graduate. And it was like the best moment I can imagine. I'm really thankful for my mentors. They really helped guiding me through the way. They really were there every step of the way. It was just kind of a different world for us, and my mentors were such a big help. I was in a program similar to College Possible, and it was something that I'm so grateful for to this day, and that inspired me to serve. So it's just the people that do what we do, they make the community even better, and it's the greatest feeling in the world. That's why I serve.
Hi everyone, my name is Marche Batchelor and I attended Parkway Center City High School, class of 2017.
And what college are you graduating from, and what was your major while you were in college?
I will be graduating from Kutztown University of Pennsylvania. I'm graduating in May of 2021. So it's about that time for graduation, and I will be receiving a bachelor's of social work as well as a bachelor's of science in criminal justice.
Tell us a little bit about why you joined College Possible and why did you want a college degree?
I joined College Possible for many reasons. I joined College Possible because at first I saw a lot of the seniors a part of College Possible, and I saw that it was an opportunity to have additional feedback and additional support in the college application process. I also joined College Possible because I felt like I should be a part of something where I would be getting that additional support given the environment that I grew up in. So I am a first generation college student. and having someone else who's been to college, being surrounded by other students who have aspirations to go to college, that motivated me to be a part of that type of community. And I wanted to receive a college degree because I think that the impact that I want to have on this world today, you kind of have to have a college degree in order to be taken seriously. So that was why I wanted to pursue that, so that I can continue to challenge myself in everything that I do.
Can you tell us a little bit about what your experiences have been like with your high school coach, your college coach? How have they been able to support you, and what have your relationships been like over time?
I've always had really close relationships with both my high school coaches as well as my college coaches. High school, of course, was a bit more hands-on because they were physically placed in Parkway Center City, so I could just walk into the office and get the help that I needed. But the relationship I had with my high school coaches overall, they pretty much helped me apply to every single school that I had to apply to. And I applied to a lot of them. I applied to 16 schools, and it was definitely a long process, but they made that process 10 times easier. They helped me not have to they helped me find resources so that I didn't have to pay for my college applications. They helped me, they also looked over my applications. They answered questions that I had about college. They helped me sign up to go to overnight college programs so that I can get a better feel for the university to see if that was something that I wanted to do. They helped me with college essays. They literally helped me with everything. And then they also helped me with just mental health. Like some days I would walk into the office because we had such a close relationship, and I'd be able to just talk to them casually and have that additional support system when having a rough day. So I'm forever grateful for that. When it comes to my college coaches, they've always been, it's a little bit different because they're obviously not placed at the school that I go to, but they've always been available via email and via phone. So they've been able to help me with my transferring process. I did transfer midway through freshman year, and College Possible is a resource that I heavily relied on. I contacted them time after time after time again, just to see how I can do FAFSA over, or also to see how I can find different resources on my campus now and how I can adjust. I just use the college coaches as a way to discuss how I was adjusting to the new environment.
So you are at the end, graduation is in sight, you got about a month left. Tell us a little bit about your future plans.
So my future plans, I have a lot that I want to do with my future, but with my career, I aspire to be a juvenile counselor. So that's why I have the dual major with both social work and criminal justice. I'm dedicated to criminal justice reform. I'm dedicated to advocating, especially for underrepresented youth in juvenile detention centers. I'm committed to social justice in every way, shape, and form. That's what I plan to do with my career. Other than that, I do not plan to remain in the same specific career for the rest of my life. I do have aspirations to go to law school a few years down the line, because I would like to have some type of impact on a macro level where I'm helping create a better environment for people that look like me. I want to be able to have some type of impact on changing laws and actually making sure that those laws are enforced, so that we can somehow, some way achieve, or at least be closer to a more equitable society.
Next, I'd like to introduce Precious Minds, Program Director at College Possible, Philadelphia. Hey, Precious.
Hello, everyone. I am Precious Minds, the Program Director for College Possible, Philadelphia. I want to start by saying thank you to our amazing students, Ishel Ortiz and Marche Bachelor. Thank you so much for speaking to us today. And to our awesome AmeriCorps coaches. Each year, we recruit a cohort of AmeriCorps members to come and serve with us at College Possible Philadelphia in helping us to close the degree divide. This year was especially unique because all 20 of our AmeriCorps members were onboarded and have served their term through a global pandemic. Where they would typically be in the school, this year they've had to be tech connected. And let me tell you, our coaches have shown up. They've shown up with passion, commitment, and resilience. They have modeled excellence for our students. Thank you to each and every one of our AmeriCorps members. As the Program Director of College Possible, living through a global pandemic has underscored for me how important our work is, especially in the Philadelphia region. When you consider that only 30% of residents in Philadelphia has obtained a bachelor's degree, you can imagine the uphill battle it is for students who are first generation and low income in obtaining that degree. That's why it is important for us to continue to provide the support, the coaching, and helping our students to develop the mindset, the skills necessary in navigating the hurdles and the systemic barriers that exist for them in higher education. As the program director, I am committed to making sure that we impact as many students as possible. I've been here for the past 5 years, and it's been a privilege to see this program continue to grow and flourish. We are doing our best to help serve our students holistically, whether that is providing our college students with emergency aid or setting our students up with the opportunities to have internships and to get mentoring around their career trajectory. We want to make sure that our students are in the best position to be successful and to obtain their goals of a college degree. When you support College Possible, you come alongside of us and strengthen our ability to serve students. You help students like Ishel and Marche in achieving their dream of being the first in their family to obtain a 4-year degree. It is your support that helps us to continue to make college possible for many students all across the Philadelphia region.
I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge our local advisory board. Each of our board members play a critical role in supporting the mission of College Possible. In fact, the board made a commitment to match up to $25,000 in donations in support of our program this year. We are truly grateful for their leadership and support. And speaking of leaders, College Possible Philadelphia's board chair, Joseph Divis, is the Assistant Vice President of External Affairs for AT&T Services and Interim President of AT&T New Jersey. He has served on our board for 6 years and as the board chair for the last 5 years. Joe is passionate about College Possible and educational equity. He has been an incredible ambassador and connector and a true champion for our students, coaches, and leadership team. Joe even stayed on just a little bit longer to welcome me as I joined the team last year. Joe, it is my pleasure to present you with this award. Your tireless efforts are unmatched. On behalf of the board and the team, thank you for your leadership and for being a true champion for our students' success.
Thank you, Dia. And thank you to the entire College Possible family for this recognition. It is very humbling. First, let me give a shout out to our special guests, Nick Bayer and Cherri Gregg. We appreciate your willingness to support tonight's Champions for Success event. I've said it before and I'll say it again and again. The Philadelphia site team is the best there is in the College Possible system. Through growing pains, the personal challenges and sacrifices, meeting our students where they are, and of course the pandemic and the challenges that were 2020. This team has always delivered with professional excellence and mission focus. Thank you, Dia, Precious, Allison, Brian, Zach, Candace, Armel, and our newest addition, Julius. One of the greatest joys I've had with College Possible is meeting our students and our coaches. I've missed that greatly. For those who have attended a launch, you know what I'm talking about. Our coaches are the secret sauce. They deliver the program to our students, but they do so much more. Each year, we are blessed with an incredible core of young adults who give us all hope for the future. They are an inspiration. To our students, it's all about you, your dreams, your aspirations, your grit and your persistence, and of course, your success. Know that College Possible always has your back. Congratulations to our 2021 graduates, both college and high school. You have endured more than your share of challenges, and you have succeeded. Let it make you stronger and more resilient and more caring. We wish you Godspeed. And to my board colleagues, you honored me with the opportunity to serve, even when I hadn't a clue about what it meant to be a board chair. We've witnessed the growth of our site, the challenges of building a brand in the Philadelphia region, the evolution of our board's task, and how we handle our business, as well as paving the foundation for a bright future. I want to specifically thank and mention Jeff Berstein and Joel Feldman. Their lengths of service have tracked mine, meaning we've pretty much seen all the ups and downs together. But they've made prolific contributions to our site's success. Jeff had the vision to bring College Possible Philadelphia to the community, and Joel brought us an historic first planned gift. Thank you all for your support and your friendship. I am forever grateful. To my lovely wife, Doreen, she has been my support and my partner through this most rewarding work. And to my colleague, Tony Barrett, who will succeed me in June, I offer my support and my thanks. You will be an outstanding board chair. Thank you all very much, and make it possible.
Hi, my name is Tony Barrett. I'm the Vice Chairperson of the Board of Directors for College Possible Philadelphia. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Joe Divis for his leadership as Chairperson of the Board. In June, Joe will be stepping down after 5 years in the role. I remember back in fall of 2016 when Joel Feldman, a friend and a fellow board member, invited me to a College Possible fundraiser. The information that was shared that night about inequality and educational opportunity broke my heart. You see, my parents immigrated from Jamaica when I was a young child. I grew up in a working class home where there was just enough to go around and absolutely nothing extra. My parents always made it clear that it was our education that was going to be our path to success. And through their tough love and doors that were open because of athletics, I had opportunities presented to me. So when I think about all of these deserving kids who could miss opportunities to achieve the American dream, it breaks my heart. So after attending this fundraiser with my friend Joel, he asked me to take a meeting with Joe and talk about how I could get involved. Joe showed up at my office with a PowerPoint presentation in hand. I immediately saw that we shared the same passion for creating opportunities for these great kids. But I had one question. So, what exactly is the job of a board member? Joe gave me this funny look and said something like, well, I'm not quite sure, but we can figure this all out together. Well, 4 years later, we have an organization with proven results. We're helping hundreds of kids attain the dream of a college degree. This is a great mission. This is a great responsibility. And there's so many good reasons for us to make this endeavor a resounding success. As chairman, I look forward to continuing to expand on the reach of this organization. Because for every student that we currently help, there are dozens that are falling through the cracks. I want to thank all of you for participating in tonight's event.
Thank you again to everyone who participated and helped to make Champions for Success an inspiring event. Did you have a good time? I know I did. I am so grateful for the opportunity to participate. Thank you sincerely to my friend Susan Bueller, Chief Communications Officer at PJM Interconnection and College Possible Philadelphia board member, for reaching out and inviting me to be a part of Champions for Success. I applaud the great work that College Possible is doing for students in and around Philly to ensure they achieve their college degrees. I truly wish I had a College Possible when I was in college. Now, to support College Possible, please visit the donation link that is shown on the screen. Thank you so much and have a wonderful evening.